Afternoon, everyone. This is Stuart Blumenthal with ETHOSystems. Excited to have us present all the changes in Sage Intacct 2023 R3 release that just came out last Friday. So a lot of good changes that Olivia is going to be going over today. Just a quick reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and we are all, if there's any questions along the way, please just put them into the questions feature within the GoToWebinar. To make this, I know everyone's time is very valuable today. I'm going to make this simple. I'm going to turn this over to Olivia. Olivia, thank you so much for putting this together. I know you've been swamped lately with a lot of projects, and really appreciate you spending some time going over all the new 2023 R3 features.
Thank you, Stuart. And thank you everyone for attending today. I really appreciate your time. So as Stuart said, we're going to go over some of the enhancements in the 2023 R3 release. This just happened last Friday, so these are available today for any and all of you. A couple of the enhancements I will note are ones where you do have to sign up for them because they are an early adopter, but I will note those ones if that is the case. Okay, so let's just move forward here. This presentation will be between 30 and 45 minutes long. All the phone lines are muted. If you have any questions, if you can type them into the question box, and then that way we're able to go ahead and get those questions answered for you. Okay, so first we're going to go over the new features, and then we'll have time for Q&A at the end. Okay, so the first feature that is available is there is now vendor approval within Sage Intacct. So now once a vendor is created, it will go into a state of submitted, like you can see here. This submitted state will still allow you to enter bills against that vendor and purchase orders, but they will be in a draft state. They will not post to the general ledger until that vendor has had an approved status. So just something to keep in mind there. So let me just show you real quickly what that looks like within Sage Intacct so you can see how that feature and functionality works. So let me just change to show. Okay. All right. So here is the vendor list screen, and you will notice that I added this new vendor here, A to Z Electric Supply, and they have a status of submitted. That means that they have not been approved yet within the vendor approval. I have also come into here into the bills area, and I have entered in 2 bills for this particular vendor. You'll notice that the bills are in the bill screen, but they are in draft mode because that vendor has not been approved. Okay, now in order to approve that vendor, I'm going to come here to accounts payable, go to approve vendors. And why aren't my vendors showing up? Oh, sheesh. Always when you're doing these types of things, they never seem to. Okay, well, I'll have to look at, but you go ahead and approve that vendor. And then at that point, the vendor will show up as approved, like these statuses are here. And then any and all bills that have been created against that supplier will also change to a status of posted. Okay, so new enhancement, and that can just be configured within accounts payable under the configuration setting, and then you can turn on whether or not you want to have vendor approvals, and then you can go through security and say who has rights to approve vendors. All right. Next enhancement is in accounts receivable, and this is bank transaction assistance. So within here, you now have the ability to receive payments to multiple customers on a deposit. So in the past, you could only do a deposit one per customer. Now you can put multiple customers on a deposit. So let's say you have a customer and they have several sites, and each site is maybe a child customer to that main customer. Now you will be able to enter those cash receipts and affect all those different AR invoices for all those customers. So it's a really great enhancement. It is something that individuals have been requesting for a long time. So this is going to be great for a lot of you, because a lot of times we have multiple customers on a particular check, especially if you might have more than one project with a customer. They might pay you for multiple projects on a check, and then this is a great way for you to be able to handle that. Also too, with this is the bank transactions. So now that the bank transactions are enhanced, when a payment comes through the bank transaction import, you will be able to click on this receive payments area on that transaction. And again, you have the ability to mark that to multiple customers. And then this is a little bit on how the receive payment screen has changed. Now you will see that there is this new field that says apply payment to. You can either check one customer, either parent and child customer invoices, or multiple company customer invoices. Once you select that option in the receive payments area, then it will give you the opportunity to apply to multiple customer invoices if you so choose. Okay, also within cash management, there is now some enhancements to the bank transaction imports. So this is an early adopter item. So if this is something you are interested in, please let us know, and we can talk to Sage about potentially including you into the early adopters program. But basically what this will do is allow a more centralized location for your importing transactions on the bank to go. And in the past, once you import a transaction to the bank, they disappeared once you did your reconciliation. Now those transactions will stay there, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to view any of that activity that was imported. Okay. Also, in time and expense, you can now use bank file payments or ACH payments for any payments to your employee reimbursements done through time and expense. So if you are using employee reimbursements and time and expense, you can now pay those employees through ACH bank file payments. All right, next is consolidations. So there is now an advanced ownership consolidation. So for a lot of you that have percentage of ownership consolidations, this is going to make the process a lot more streamlined. And it even does that ownership percentage by period too. So if for some reason that ownership percentage changed from one period to another period, it keeps track of all that information so that even if you run a consolidation for a period in the past, it will still show you the correct ownership percentage of those transactions based on what the ownership was in that period of time. So this is very helpful to those of you that are doing consolidations on multiple entities with various ownership percentages. If you would like to learn more about this, please let us know and we'd be happy to help you with this functionality within Sage Intacct. All right, next is the vendor compliance area. So in here, we now have vendor compliance where you can start tracking various types of compliance documents. So general liability insurance, business license, those types of items can now be tracked through Sage Intacct. So let me give you a demonstration of how that works. Okay, so first things here is when you go to the vendor setup screen, you will see a new tab here called Vendor Compliance. When you click on this vendor compliance, you have two areas of compliance: insurance compliance and miscellaneous compliance items. You can create as many different types of compliance items as you would like. So in this example, I just created one general liability compliance item. I didn't create any miscellaneous, but you can have as many as you want. So miscellaneous can really be anything. It can be their contractor's license. It can be a W-9. It can be a business license. Anything that you want to track that doesn't kind of fall within the insurance realm. Okay. So real quick, let me just show you an example here. So here for general liability insurance, I've put that I have received this, the receive dates, expiration dates, if I want to put the policy number or amounts, whether it's additional assured or subrogation waivers have been entered on those insurance certificates, and I can attach that insurance certificate here. This is set up to warn me against the expiration date. So it's going to look at that vendor's expiration date and then give me a warning when that vendor is not in compliance. Okay, so all of that will be done in the purchasing application, and you will see under setup that now you have this vendor compliance information. So you can create those definitions and you can create those compliance types, and then it will warn you when you go to pay a vendor if they are out of compliance. Okay, so if you need any assistance with getting this set up, please reach out to one of us and we will help activate this and help you create these different compliance definitions that will work with your workflow within Sage Intacct. Okay, the next thing within construction is this project budget insight. So now in the project summary screen, you can compare various items to budgets. So this is great when you want to verify things against the overall project budget. So if you would like to have assistance with this, again, just let your consultant know. We would happy to get this set up for you, and it's a nice enhancement to the project summary tab within the project application. All right, for those that are multi-entity, you now have the option to restrict general ledger transactions to the entity itself. We do recommend, however, if you are multi-entity, to try and do as much as you can at the top level. However, if you need to restrict work to the entity level, you now have the ability to do so with the general ledger transactions themselves as well by clicking this checkbox. And this is under the multi-entity configuration within Sage Intacct. All right, also within here, you have the ability to exclude adjustments from your general ledger trial balance. So previously, when you ran a trial balance, it would always show you the adjustments column. Now you have the ability to exclude that adjustments column, and now it'll just show it without the adjustments column. So especially for any users who don't use adjusting journal entries, this is nice because now it eliminates those extra columns on the report. Okay. All right, in purchasing, you now have match tolerances. So at the moment, it is only a percentage tolerance. They are looking into continually enhancing this new feature within purchasing. They are looking into adding dollar amount tolerances, but as of the current moment, it is percentage. So if you put in a percentage tolerance either on the quantity or the price, it will go ahead and let you enter that as long as it's within the tolerance that you allowed. So if you say, hey, the price tolerance, as long as it's within 5%, you can go ahead and make that adjustment. Then Sage Intacct will let you do that. If it's 10%, it will not, because you put in that price tolerance percentage. And again, that's either on the quantity or the price or both. And you can set up these different tolerance transaction definitions. Again, if you would like assistance setting this up for your purchasing application, just let one of us know here at Ethos and we would be happy to help you with that. Okay, some enhancements to the advanced reporting. So this would be the interactive custom report writer within Sage Intacct. So now you can apply all the formatting that you have when you modify the custom SQL within ICRW. And there are 2 new reporting areas that are available for you to create reports off of in ICRW. So the first one is in the accounts receivable application. You can now pull information from the AR payment detail reporting area. So if you want to do any type of reports that look at cash receipts applied to invoices, you would now be able to access that information. And then within the construction reporting area, you can now look at the project summary billing detail. So this is additional information in the time and material billings within Sage Intacct. You can now also pull information from the rate tables. So this is the time and material billing rate tables within Sage Intacct. And then finally, you can create reports based off the vendor compliance area that was added in this release of the software. So all three of these construction areas and this one accounts receivable areas have been made available within ICRW, so you can now create custom reports on these today. All right, some enhancements that were made to the real estate application. You now can have pop-up alerts regarding management fees and late charges for your property. And this will kind of help keep you updated on important financial information. You also have enhancements to the management fee. So there is a new preview journal that displays a little bit more information about the management fee and the invoices that have been used to generate that management fee. And this makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to see how these fees are calculated. You also have the option to select redevelopment as an option category, and this will help with managing your various properties within real estate. You can create more detailed real estate invoices with the unit custom field that has now been created. When it comes to certain charges, you do have the ability now to not generate those charges with the do not generate charge checkbox on the specific charge itself. And then finally, you have various enhancements that are related to late fees, how those late fees are calculated and managed, and how those associate with advanced payments. So if you would like to learn more about any of these enhancements or how to set these up, please reach out to your consultant and we will definitely help you with these enhancements to real estate. All right, time and expense. If you are using timesheets within Sage Time and Expense, you now have the ability to attach file to those timesheets. Managers are able to create and edit timesheets on behalf of their employees. You can also reorganize the time entry page so it's a little bit more, it flows a little more better, or a little more better. It will flow better for how your employees enter time, and additional fields have been added. And now if you are using Sage Intelligence Time, you can also put in your Sage Intacct credentials into Sage Intelligent Time instead of having a different login if you are using that product with timesheets. All right, some enhancements that have been done to the user experience. There has now been some enhanced lists for the following areas of the software: vendors, attachments and attachment folders, classes, departments, locations, and the various sales tax areas of the software. They are continuing to make adjustments to these lists. If you would like to include yourself into the beta, you will have a area within the software, any of the areas where there is an enhancement to the list. If you would like to be included in the beta, let me just show you an example here. you will see this icon here, which says turn on list beta interface. That will inactivate the new list interface that Sage Intacct is creating, and then you would be able to experience that for yourself. Okay. If you don't like it for whatever reason, you can turn it off and go to the existing list interface. But if you want to try and test out the new one, if you see this icon here, you would just click on it and that would allow you to use that new interface. Okay. All right, next is document sequencing. This has been redesigned. Previously, when you created document sequencing, it was on 2 different tabs. Now it is just 1 tab, and it is here with all the various areas to create those document sequencing numbers here. So if you need help understanding what document sequencing is, where you can use it within the application, just reach out to your consultant and we'd be happy to help you with this. Also on here is some enhancements to email delivery within Sage Intacct. It now uses DKIM, which is enhanced email security. And then with that becomes available additional insight into the delivery status of your emails to recipients. Okay, so that was just some of the enhancements that have come out in R3 of Sage Intacct. If you have any questions about what is in the latest version, on the home screen here, it has this R3. If you click on read the R3 release notes, it'll show you all the various adjustments to the various applications. So you can click on here, you can look at the enhancements, it'll give you information about it, how to set that up, and different things related to that enhancement there, okay? So if you want to learn more about any of these or any of the enhancements that maybe I didn't cover today, this would be a great place for you to be able to do that. Also too on here is the release calendar. So R4 is scheduled for November 10th of this year. So similar to this, we will have another webinar that will cover all the new features and functionality that are available in R4 too.
Olivia, we do have one question that came in during the group. I just wanted to see if maybe you can hit this one. It was talking about vendor compliance records. Is there a way of reporting those at that are entity specific? Do you know if there's a way of doing those that are entity specific?
Yes, there is. There is.
Okay.
So when we do that, we can specify that we set those transaction definitions at just the entity level instead of at the top level.
Got it. So, okay. So if your transaction definitions already been set up, there might be needed to be looked at for or possibly rejiggered for that purpose.
All right. Are there any other questions?
There's one more that came in. So I think the question regarding top level and entity level, I'll definitely talk to you offline about that. I think there's some great questions in there. Sorry, I'm just reviewing the questions. Nope, that was the last one that came in.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you everyone for your time today. I do appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions about any of this feature and functionality and how you can utilize it at your company, please feel free to reach out to your consultant and let them know, and we would be happy to help you with any of these features.
Thank you so much for putting this on. I know it was a lot of work and it's all put together. Thank you so much. And everyone have a great day.